Hopefully we'll see what it comes across on the laptop here real quick. Yes, I'm here. We're not waiting for me. I'm already live. Come on, YouTube. Let's get with the game. Come on, YouTube. Today, I'm here. Okay, a couple of you guys are saying 5x5. I'm not seeing me on my computer, so let's see if I reset it. A bunch of you are saying I'm 5x5. Okay, there I am. Hey, what do you know? We got it. Jeez. All right. Just keep changing stuff. Good. This is a lot easier, a lot better for a lot of reasons. Okay. Also because my camera is secure at this point, not balancing on the top of a computer. So hello and happy Saturday, gang. Nothing like starting out that way. Who knows? It could have been my mistake too. I might have forgot to do something. It's not like I'm not just a hair tired here. But thank you to all the folks in Indiana for being such wonderful hosts again. We got back this afternoon. Not a terrible drive at 6.5 hours, but it's just, and it was a busy weekend, or well, Thursday, Friday. Well, we drove in Thursday, went out to dinner with PBJ on Thursday night, got my Portillo's fix, so an Italian beef and a Chicago hot dog. Yes, I want to hear about the diet. I'm not missing that. Then she had her ceremony yesterday, which was good. And then we went out to dinner last night to celebrate for her. So I took her out to dinner. So the interesting part of the whole trip was PBJ's mother, my ex, was coming down for the ceremony, of course. She's still up in Fort Wayne. And of course, she got stuck in traffic. And I mean, I felt really bad for it because she wound up missing the ceremony because I guess, and for those of you guys that know the area, Andersonville, she got stuck in traffic there for like an hour and a half. And, it's like a 2.5 hour drive from Fort Wayne to Indy. And so she missed the ceremony. And I mean, I could, PBJ didn't blame her, but I mean, it hurt. She wanted her folks there. And so that was that. And so she missed the ceremony, but PBJ had asked me in the morning, can mom come to dinner? And she goes, I don't want it to take time away from your time with me. But I'm like, this is up to you. This is your day. And I said, if you want it there, I said, I will be on good behavior. Mom said the same thing. So I saw my ex last night for the first time in 15 years. And obviously Mrs. P was there too. So, it's always interesting when the current wife meets the ex-wife. But we actually had a nice dinner and talked a little bit. And, we were married we were together for 15 years. So, but it made for an interesting evening. But all went well, and so everybody was happy. No fighting, no arguing, no nothing. We genuinely talked like adults. I can't do that, believe it or not. So that was the excitement. And then driving back this morning, the dogs were very happy to be home. But they are wonderful car travelers. So, they just go to sleep in the back of the car, and that's that. So, no, they don't ride in the back of the pickup truck, guys. That's it. They sit inside the cab with the rest of us. I'm not that crazy. But, so we got back in, I guess we got home about 3:30 or whatever. And both of us took a nap. That was the end of that. So haven't paid a whole lot. I kind of watched a little bit about what was going on. The Aurora, Colorado situation is the one that I'm kind of most interested in right now, because if you guys don't know what's going on there, you have these Venezuelan gangs that apparently are worse than MS-13. They've taken over apartment complexes and they're basically going door to door with rifles saying, we're now your landlord, pay our rent, pay your rent. And I mean, if you don't want to pay them, they, let's just put it this way, forcibly evict you and bring somebody in who will pay them. Okay. And of course, the city is saying, oh, this is all imaginary. This isn't really happening, even though people have it, Ring doorbell cams, they have it on video, but no. So the city's not doing anything. The state's not doing anything. The federal government's not doing anything. And so the latest story now is, I guess, a large contingency of Hell's Angels are on the way to handle the problem. Now, I've heard stories on this that, the Bloods and the Crips, for example. Are you going to let these guys take over your turf? Here's the problem with something like this. And I don't care who it is. If it's another gang, if it's a Hells Angels, if it's a Bloods and the Crips, if it's MS-13, if it's whoever that fights these guys. Then they're going to go, okay, now we're running the apartment complex. I mean, this is the problem. And we get into the situation of, if my taxes pay for the police department, pay for the government's, the mayor's salary, and you aren't doing anything, why am I paying you? Right? If you're not going to do anything, I'm not paying my taxes. That my taxes are supposed to go for public service. You're not doing anything. So screw you and your taxes. And I think that is what's going to really come to fruition here around the country. We're going to get in. I mean, remember the Boston Tea Party? Okay. That was over a 2% tax on tea, right? 2%, right? Anybody paying 2% tax on anything? Yeah, you're probably paying more in sales tax, property tax, gas tax, income tax, Social Security tax, payroll tax, estate tax, name one, okay? A dollar gets taxed over 100 times by the time it makes its way through all the people. Okay? By the time it gets down there, your spending power on a dollar is about a penny. Okay, because that's how the other 99 cents somehow somebody paid taxes on it. So it takes $100 to the government will keep 99 bucks for that $1 that you have in your pocket. Okay. So that, you think about Kamala Harris's tax plan or whatever, people are just going to refuse to pay taxes. And, we're going to hire 87,000 new IRS agents. Great. When you have 150, 200 million people who say, we're not paying you, you're done. 87,000 people ain't going to be able to do squat, but we'll see how that goes. But that's going to have to be something massive, because if 10,000 people decide we're not doing it, it doesn't do squat. You're going to need millions of people. I mean, there's going to have to be a national tax strike. And we may come to that. I mean, there's a lot of political scientists, a lot of economists who are saying that the national divorce will happen before 2030. I mean, there's many, many, many people that have said there will not be a 2028 election. And I'm not saying because we're going to have a dictator win either way here. It's because the country will have split by then. Okay. We are living in some really wild times. And maybe, literally, if you don't pay attention at all, and there's plenty of people who, there's the video of the guy selling Harris Walls shirts at the Chicago convention. And when the reporter asked him, who's Tim Walls? The guy didn't know. He was just selling t-shirts. There's a lot of people who have no clue what's going on. And honestly, still right now, if you look at it, if you don't pay any attention to what's going on in the world, you don't know what's going on. Prices are up, sure, okay. But You don't know what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. You don't know what's going on in Israel. You don't know what's going on with China. You don't know what's going on with the election. But as long as there's food in the grocery store and gas at the gas station, you're still going about your normal day, except for the fact that everything's more expensive. That when that changes, when all of a sudden there is no gas at the gas station or no food on the shelves again, or there's a military vehicle at an intersection asking you where you're going, then people will wake up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens going forward. Every day, you guys are probably the same as me. You get up in the morning and go, oh my God, what the hell happened overnight? You know, is the country still in one piece? You know, because I mean, if war broke out, I don't think Sharps Chapel, Tennessee is high on anybody's list to be the first place to go. You know, I'm not going to see it firsthand. I'll see it on whatever media still exists as when I get it. But, you know, a couple of days in, then I'll probably know. All right. Well, that's the life and times of me. All right, so let's get into some Q&A here. As per normal, if you got questions for me, please put them in all caps. The only thing I require, and you guys all know this, unless you're new, you'll learn this real quick. The only rule we have around here is treat each other with a little bit of respect. You know, disagreements, fine. Just be polite about it. You know, I don't expect anybody to agree with me on everything I say. That's fine. You know, that's what makes a dialogue. You know, two people will say something. And I've had many conversations with many people, you know, in real life, online, via email, stuff like that. And they'll state a case, I'll state a case. And I mean, and they'll make good points on the other side of me. It's not going to change my mind, but I'm kind of set in my ways at this point in my life. But I'll at least listen because it allows me to shape my thoughts a little bit better too. But just do it with dignity. You know, treat others as you want to be treated yourselves. All right, let's get up to the top, see what's on y'all's mind, and see what kind of trouble we can all get into tonight. All right. Redneck Renegade, you like my 9mm ectomy, huh? Yes, there you go. Jim says, yum Portillo's. Yes, it was. We were talking about this. The last time I had a real Italian beef was in Vegas, and this has got to go back. It was probably 2017 or 2018. And there was a guy, he was down near Henderson, and I can't remember what the name of the place was, or Crossroads, but I remember we went down there, and I talked to the guy who owned the place, and he had moved down there from Chicago. So it tasted perfect. So it's been 7 or 8 years since I've had a real one. I tried to make them at home. It just ain't as good. But it was like, you know, and enjoyed the hell out of it. So that was it. And the Portillo's in Fishers, any of you guys that went over by the Top Golf, that is one nice restaurant. I'm used to the Portillo's in Chicago that's in a strip mall. You walk in the door, you're like in a cafeteria style line and that plastic chairs. So it's like, no, okay, this one is pretty cool. So yes, you got a nice one over there. Congratulations, many congratulations for PBJ. Yes, that was very cool to see her get to do that. So I'm very proud of her. Let's see. Okay, we talked about Hells Angels. Farm Girl 1964. What do you think the illegals were going to do if they had made it onto the school buses in San Diego? I saw the headlines on it. I don't know. I mean, I didn't get, again, I was busy a couple of days. Okay, didn't spend a whole lot of time reading the news. But I did see that they tried to commandeer a school bus full of kids or whatever. And who knows if it was like, hey, you know what? We want to do child trafficking. What better thing to do than carjack a school bus, and we're just driving to Tijuana, and we're done. You know, I mean, it could have been one of many. We're going to hold your kids for ransom. Don't know. But the only thing we do know for sure, it wasn't like they were going to go take them all out for ice cream. It wasn't going to be a good thing. So, we got to, the economy is the number one issue. The border issue has got to be a real close number two in this election. And Cackling Cammy and her, I'm going to build the wall. Bullshit, lady. You're telling us that because you think maybe there's somebody who's not completely sold on Trump, or somebody who's, we have to have a female president, because, the quality candidates we see coming from the XX chromosome side, Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, I got no problem with a female candidate. Let's just have one that's competent, and not just a complete bimbo. Jennifer Perry, please say a prayer for the Gaudreau family. Yeah, okay. NHL Southern, and I'm again quick. Was this when you say NHL? That's what got me. If you guys didn't hear, this really sucks. It was I think they were. It was a professional hockey player, NHL, and I believe it was his brother, if I remember correctly, were riding bikes and were killed Thursday, I think, by a drunk driver. And their sister was supposed to get married yesterday. Obviously, she canceled the wedding because got to make funeral arrangements instead. So yeah, just another one of these. We gotta do something about criminality in this country. But yeah, say a prayer for them. Okay, we talked about do. Breed just went to the backup channel, and I'll say the diet is definitely working. Okay, did I look fatter on the old videos? I'm still stuck at this down right about 30, and that's it. So this weekend didn't help. I'm not even going to get on a scale for a few days. It's like, no. Disney Mom, one of my videos from 2 years ago, Humi Labs 30-pint dehumidifier. How's it working now? I don't think it was one of mine. That company name does not ring a bell to me at all. I think the only dehumidifier video I did was to show you guys how to get water out of one of them. I know I've never reviewed one, so I don't think it's one of my videos. Custom Carl, we need to be trained to protect ourselves. Nobody else will, not the police, not the government. Not your thoughts. I am 100% on board with that comment. I completely agree. Police aren't there to protect, okay? They may have the BS line on the side of the car, just to protect and serve. The police don't protect at all, okay? Police are there to clean up the mess afterwards. They say, oh, we're trying to stop crime. No, they're just there to take the report and then investigate the crime. I'm not dogging the police at all. Criminals will always, and I think we talked about this maybe a week ago, criminals will always be one step ahead of the police. It's just the way it is. I'll give you an example. As we're driving home today, okay, and I always put on Google Maps in the car, not because I don't know how to get home, but because it warns me about stuff ahead. And you guys have all done this. There's a stalled vehicle ahead. There's something on the road ahead. There's a speed trap ahead. Now, I don't worry about speeding. I piss off a lot of people on the road because if the speed limit's 70, I do 70. The speed limit's 55, I do 55. Okay. I haven't had a ticket in 25 years. Okay. I don't want $1,000 tickets and insurance rates to go up. And my answer always is, if you've got to go that fast, the 2 minutes you're going to save in your half an hour drive by doing, I don't know, 10 miles an hour over or whatever it is it worth the risk? If you're got to do that, get up 5 minutes earlier so you can get to work on time. But yeah, we have to be the ones to protect ourselves. If somebody's breaking into your house, yeah, you want to call the police. Unless the police station's right next door, you're not going up to the guy and go, "Excuse me, sir, can you wait 5 minutes before you break into my house?" The police will be here. When seconds count, we're only minutes away. We've always heard that, right? No, you need to be able to protect yourself. If the police are going to come to clean up the mess and do the investigation, let them clean up the mess of the brain matter that's all over your living room carpet, because the guy that walked into the house uninvited is now spaghetti. Yeah, that's all it is. The police are there to investigate a crime that's already happened and to generate revenue for a city. That's what they do. Yeah. If you want to be protected, that's up to you. I was walking around yesterday, again, obviously you guys know me, I don't go, well, I won't say don't. Most of the time, I don't go anywhere unstrapped, let's put it that way. But of course, being in Indiana, I wanted to check the laws, and Indiana law does not allow, well, no, I take it back. Indiana law leaves it up to the colleges to choose, because I want to see, what gun laws are. And so I looked up Butler's stuff, and specifically they say no guns on campus. Not that criminals care, okay, but I'm not a criminal. So yes, I did not carry going to the ceremony yesterday. Made me a little nervous, not being able to protect me and Mrs. P, but that's what it was. But it was like, okay, it was still in the car, locked, and so any driving around, I was protected. But for the hour and 20 minutes or whatever that walking back and forth to the ceremony and sitting through the ceremony, I mean, everything's fine, obviously, but people ask me all the time, it's like, oh, do you really think you need to have one here? And I just bring back the story of about a year ago or so, and you guys remember this one. The guy that walked into the bowling alley to rob the bowling alley, I mean, of all places to rob, okay, goes in a bowling alley with a gun. I mean, how many people are going to think, yeah, I carry a bowling alley or a gun to the bowling alley? I do, okay. But you never know where it's going to happen. I mean, even Mrs. P was saying yesterday when we went to the restaurant, she goes, you said this is a nice part of town. I'm like, yeah, I said, criminals don't go rob from poor people. If it's a nice part of town, that's where the money is. That's where they go. What was it, Willie Brown? Why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. Good answer. Amanda Cyber, am I still doing Carnivore? Yes. We do have cheat days, if you will. Okay. I mean, and we have an agreement with Mrs. P and I have an agreement. When we go somewhere, the diet's off, because it's very hard. And I do as best I can, but it's difficult to go to a restaurant and be on Carnivore. Okay. I mean, we went out with friends, a month ago or whatever, to a Italian place, and good pizza, good pasta, and everything like that. And sure, I got a steak. Okay, this was not a fancy Italian place or anything like that. And the steak was passable. I mean, it was at least beef. It's like, oh, what do you want as your sides? Can I get a double order of broccoli because I couldn't get the potatoes? It's like, all right, can I get a salad with red wine vinegar as my dressing? That was it. It's difficult. There's not much, and when you're out of town, it's not like I could cook. So yeah, so sometimes in that, those are when, okay, Mrs. P can have her hamburger. The burger addict she is. How much she loves burgers. But now that we're back home, it'll be back to our regular. Can't talk, you can tell I'm tired. Regularly scheduled diet. Okay. We're on that. Leda Gay Magnuson, pinball. They should just turn the water and electricity off in the buildings in Aurora, Colorado. Well, here's the problem. I mean, they got to do something. I agree. But all that does is punish the residents. That doesn't do anything to get rid of the gang members. The gang members don't care if you got electricity and water. They just want your money. Not my problem. You can't take a shower. Give me your $1,000. I mean, that's it. So it's not like the gang members are going, oh, gee, this is where we're living. They're going, no, this is where we're extorting money out of people. And we shut to the bottom. Okay. Almost there. Healthy disrespect for authority. Did Mrs. P do any of the driving? No, I did all the driving. She's still permit-wise. But for those of you guys that live up in central Indiana, how about that storm that came through this morning? We had left Indianapolis about 8:30 this morning. And so for the first hour or so, it was raining. And we were going down, was it 275 or 465? There are too many different damn highways to go on. It was raining so hard that we were doing 45 on the highway. I could see literally 50 feet in front of the car. Everybody was driving with hazards on. And I said to Mrs. P, I said, look on your phone. I said, check the radar and see where this storm is. I said, because if it's like this, I said, I'm going to pull over and wait this thing out. It was bad. But no, I did all the driving. So she's still practicing. We haven't gone for her. I mean, not that she couldn't have driven. I was in the car on a permit, but no, she's not there for interstate driving yet. Carl Lynn, should we follow Warren Buffett's plan to get out early? I've been out for what, 2.5 years now, thereabouts. The only thing that I'm holding at this point is gold and silver. And people could say, oh, you missed this run up or you missed that run up or whatever. Okay, yeah, sure. But you know what? I've also had a nice run up in gold and silver. So it's not like I missed out on any investment gains. If you wonder what Carl's talking about, Warren Buffett is now sitting on, what is it, $465 million in cash. Okay. He's been selling out, I think it was Bank of America. He's been selling off his shares of that like crazy. And you got to remember what Warren Buffett's investment strategy is. By boring, steady companies. He's not out there going, oh, gee, the newest .com stock or whatever, this. He's like, no, you buy Coke, you buy Colgate, boring mega corporations. There's, with the exception of Nancy Pelosi, nobody picks stocks better than Warren Buffett, consistently. And he's been moving the cash like crazy. If there's nothing that signifies that he's expecting a market crash, I don't know what is. And you're getting a lot of economists, and I've said this for a while too, not that I'm any big economist for certain. Okay. But I was reading a story this morning where a lot of economists are calling for a 50% pullback in the stock market around the election. Now, I think a lot of that has to do with Kamala Harris if she wins. If she wins, I think that's basically a certainty. You will see unemployment skyrocket under her, and you will see the stock market completely crash. And people say, why? Real simple. You're going to have every freaking major business in this country go, we're going to Ireland. We're moving because when she wants to jack up the corporate tax rate to 40%, that's nearly doubling what it is now. Trump got it down to 21%. Companies not going, we can't operate in that. We don't have a 20% profit margin as is now that we can give all to the government and have a 0% profit margin. So, if there's no companies in the United States, that means there's no jobs in the United States. And it'd be the same thing with the stock market. Well, you know what? We're no longer a U.S. corporation. We'll just go get listed on the FTSE or something, and we'll trade in Great Britain. That'll be it. So, yeah. Should you follow Warren Buffett's plan? I can't tell you what to do. Just my answer 2.5 years ago was I got out, I paid off my house. Any money that I invest goes into gold and silver because it's real money. And I think a lot of you guys who've been following long enough know we were buying gold back then and sub 1800, and we were buying silver, $17, $18 an ounce. Okay? Each one of them has shown better than a 30% return. Better than the stock market. Warriors Garden and Workshop. Did I ever spend any time at Fort Drum, New York? No, but it's interesting. Of all the Army bases you could pull up, you'd pull that one. It was about 1988, I think it was, 87 or 88. It had to be 88, because we'd been there for a while. They were talking about moving my unit from working with the 3rd Armored Cav to the, 10th Mountain that's up in Fort Drum, I think it was. They were talking about moving our unit to Fort Drum. And we're like, oh yeah, that's all we need. We're going to go from the desert to, winter. It's like, we're all thinking of something, and again, the logistics of moving an entire regiment would have been, or I'm saying, no, it wouldn't have been the whole regiment. It just would have been our company. Yeah. I mean, still, you would have had to move 300 people for military. That wouldn't have been a big deal. Yeah, it wasn't the whole 3rd ACR. But no, never did. Never spent any time up there, but there was talk of it. Dave Moran, I'm starting to think the Harris campaign is getting very worried. My thoughts. Yeah, they are. Nate Silver has now given Trump a, 53-47, Nate Silver's election predictor. So Nate Silver has now said Trump is favored to win. The betting markets, Poly Market, stuff like that, all show Trump favored to win. Kamala Harris's leads, if you will, are disappearing in polls. I mean, this will give you a real good one, okay? Before she picked her vice presidential candidate, after Biden was cooed out and Kamala Harris was made the appointee, she was leading in Minnesota by 10 points. After she picked Tim Walz as her VP, she's leading by 5 points in Minnesota. The people of Minnesota don't want their governor to be there. They don't want Kamala Harris. Her first decision is so bad that, as I said this morning, even her brother has now been announced that he's going to appear at a Trump rally telling people, Tim Walz's brother, telling people why not to vote for his brother. Okay. Yeah, they're getting worried. After they didn't get any sort of bump in the campaign after the convention, and her interview on Thursday has been panned by everybody, conservatives and liberals. I guess the entirety of the interview was 41 minutes long. And after Harris's team got done editing it, it was 16 minutes. So we had 25 minutes of her word salad. I mean, the one the one question that was kind of funny when, and whether you saw it or not, Dana Bash coming up and saying, Donald Trump is on you about identifying as black and blah 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 blah, and what do you have to say about that? And her answer was, next question. Really? Squirrel 219. If anyone is near an Ollie's outlet, they have cases of jars for $8.99 each. If that's quart jars, well, probably if that's any jars, that's good. But yeah, I mean, if that's quarts, that's about $4 less than I can get them here. So that's at Walmart. I mean, I go to the grocery store and it's $16 as opposed to about 12 or 13 at Walmart. I no idea where an Ollie's outlet is. So, but thank you for the tip for anybody who didn't know, who knows the store. Terry Hardaway, pinball, do I believe biblical prophecy is a happening for our days? I'm not going to get into biblical prophecy and stuff like that. It is not my forte. I don't want to be. I like to stick with more of the factual stuff. I agree with the biblical prophecies, but you see the guys on the side of the road, the end of the world is nigh. Well, one of these days they're going to be right. Are we, aren't we? I don't know. I don't have a phone line upstairs. So Love to Sew, Florida. With what degree did PBJ graduate? Well, she hasn't graduated yet. It's this is the master's program to be a physician's assistant, okay, be a PA. So if you're general practitioner, your regular doctor, could be a MD, could be a PA, either way. So Dan 821, where did I find that Jimmy Red corn seed? I don't know if it says on there where I got it. North Circle Seeds. So I found it online. So order it. That was who I got it from. So nobody here. Good evening, Pinball. Did you hear anything about the military and taking over the hotel in New York? No, I have not. So yeah, I don't know anything about it. Annalou, what was PBJ's white coat for? I missed it somehow. She's going to Butler University for her master's for a degree as a physician's assistant. She got into the program, started. Apparently, it's harder to get into PA school than it is into med school. But she got into the program, and so she started in May. They did the whole summer semester. She's out of the 75 people that started, 4 did not pass the first semester, so they are done. And so she now has 2 more semesters, fall and spring semester, of classroom lab type. When you say lab, then she gave us a tour of everything. It's like a fake hospital room and everything like that. So whether they're working with cadavers or whatever. So she's got 2 more semesters of classroom experience, and then she will do a year of rotation where, and this is going to be fun. So how that works is, and she can go anywhere, okay? It depends on where the school sends her. She may do a month in an ER in one of the hospitals in Indianapolis. Then she may do a month in an OB clinic down here in Knoxville. Then she'll do a month in a psych ward somewhere in West Virginia, whatever it be. So that's going to be insane, because you start to think about, it's like, oh, the traveler, where do you stay? It's not like you can go rent an apartment, so you're stuck staying in these long-term hotels for a year, and every month, let's say, for example, she's got to come down here. She comes down here, she does her rotation here for a month. She's got to drive back to Indianapolis, take the exam for emergency room or psych ward or whatever it is, could be pediatrics, whatever. And then from there, she's got to go to the next one and back to Indy, and then to the next one and back to Indy. So she has to keep a place in Indy so she has somewhere to go back to. And she's got to have a place to stay in whatever town that she gets sent to. So they've asked, where do you, to try to help the kids a little bit, where do you have a place you can stay? So, she's like, Dad, can I stay with you if I get something in Knoxville? It's like, of course. Her mom's up in Fort Wayne, so she gets something there, so, but, it's not like she's got a big family. She's an only child, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Dad's going to be trying to help because that ain't going to be cheap. All right. Jan Ice, I can't try to wake people up anymore. They become very, very vulgar. Advice, please. At that, you know what? If you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. Okay. If they don't want to help themselves, then you say, fine. Mary, I understand you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to hear about it. You get vulgar with me. That's fine. I'll stop talking about it. I just want to leave it on one piece of conversation, though. When everything blows up, please do not knock on my door and say, can you help me? Because I've tried to, and you didn't want to listen, and that's your choice. I can respect that, but you don't get to change your mind later. And leave it at that. And if I can't believe you'd say that. You don't want to listen. Okay, it's fine. And you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. Okay, but you don't get to come back later and say, now I'm thirsty. You tried, and you will go to your grave knowing I tried to help. I don't care if it's your sister. I don't care if it's your parents. I don't care if it's your best friend. I tried. You didn't want to listen. That ain't my problem. HJS video. How do I like my new email provider, and would you recommend them? Any noticeable advantages, disadvantages? I'm assuming you're talking about Mail to World. I've probably had that account now for better than a year. I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't, when somebody will send me a photo, and you guys will send me pictures sometimes, whatever, your garden or whatever. I can't just open it in a preview pane and see the picture. I've got to actually download the photo, and then I can see it. So I download the photo, I look at it, and then I delete it. That's the only thing I don't like about it. But I mean, other than that, it sends emails, it receives emails, it's secure, and it's not tracked. Okay, that's what I wanted, So, and it's free. It's not a big deal. It's I'm not paying for it, and it's not Google monitoring my emails and censoring emails. I mean, that was the reason remember I had the Proton Mail account before, and the reason I dropped them like a hot potato was when they sent me an email that they were monitoring my emails and suspended my email account because they didn't like the content of what I was sending. I'm like, you're out of here. You don't have any right whatsoever to censor my emails to other people. Patty Foot, Mr. P, are you getting rain? We're on this side of the lake. We got a little bit early. You're supposed to have the Weather Channel. Most incompetent people out there. I used to say it was stock analysts. Employees of the Weather Channel are the most uneducated, wrong people. I mean, they don't get it. I can flip a coin and be better off on picking the weather than the Weather Channel can. So the Weather Channel said we were supposed to get heavy thunderstorms from 6:30 until 1 a.m. Well, it's 10 to 10, and we got a little bit of drizzle so far. That was it. Nothing hard. Would love to have some of that rain I saw in Indiana today, because, I mean, it's bone dry here in Tennessee. Miranda Babcock, as part of my prepping, have I attempted to make my own cheese? No, I have not, because I don't have a cow to get my own milk. So, no, that would be. I know people here nearby me who can do it, so something like that would be a barter item. Yeah. One Duchess, I know we've talked about generators many times. Best bang for my buck. I can't even begin to give you an answer there because it all depends on what you want to run. I mean, do you want to run a CPAP machine or do you want to run your whole house? Again, I've showed you different options, what they're good for. You got to go look to see what's going to fit you. You know, do you need 120 only? Do you need 240? Do you need 600 watts of power? Do you need 5,000 watts of power? There isn't a one size fits all to that. It's by necessity. And I mean, I've got different generators for different things. I've got my house set up, but then I've got my refrigerators, my freezer, my security system. They're on standalone ones just because. So, Caveman, look, never talk to police. We need police, but never talk. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you on that. It's like let's say you get pulled over. Good evening, sir. Do you know how fast you were going? Yes. But people are like, I was only doing 5 over. Great. Thank you for admitting your guilt. Okay. Do you know how fast you're going? Yes. You don't have to answer. The cop can ask you all the questions in the world. Sir, I will have my attorney speak. You can write me the ticket. That's fine. And we'll take it up in court. And that'll be it. I don't need to answer any questions at this point. Here's my license. Here's my registration. Have a nice day. Christina Caps, Pinball, you mentioned you have an alarm on your freezer to alert you when the power goes out. What kind did I get? I can't tell you the name off the top of my head, but it basically, you plug it into the wall, the alarm, then I plug how's this one? Okay, the way I've got mine set up. So I plug the alarm into the wall. I've got my backup Delta 1300s. I've got one for each freezer. Then plugged into the alarm, and then the freezers are plugged into the Delta 1300. Okay, so that's how mine's set up. If the power goes out, as in the grid, okay, which they run on, then the batteries are there using the UPS system, so the freezer will automatically kick on, or the batteries will automatically kick in, keep my food cold. That alarm will start beeping, and it's loud. I can hear it anywhere in the house. When power's gone out in the middle of the night, it'll wake us up. So it's fine. It's obviously on the other side of the house. So you want to get one that's got an audio alert, because if it's the middle of the night and you're asleep and the power goes out, you don't even know. You wake up in the morning and your clock is flashing at you or something. It's like, oh, the power went out in the middle of the night. Well, if the power went out at 11 o'clock and you get up at 6 o'clock, your freezer should be okay. But if the power came back on, maybe you don't even think about going to look at the freezer, and now everything's frozen to the bottom or whatever. Get something that's got an audio alert, just so you know, because it'll also force you to get up and go shut it off. And so it'll force you to know that something happened. So I don't remember the brand of it. You can go back and find the video. I bet if you did a search for alarm or something like that, it would probably pull up. Off-grid living, do you think Trump will replace Vance with Kennedy? Rumors of it happening? No, I don't. That's pipe dreams of people. I don't see that happening at all. because it'd be no. Because, see, this is the thing. If I remember correctly, there was talk that Trump had even asked Kennedy if he wanted to be the VP before he chose J.D. Vance. Here's the thing, okay, and you hear this from a lot of Kennedy supporters going, okay, RFK wants us to support Donald Trump. We will. Will MAGA support RFK for president in 2028? There ain't no way in the world I'm voting for him. Not a single chance. No way. Okay. Why? Because he's anti-gun and he's pro-Green New Deal type stuff. The pro-climate change crap. I'm sorry, not happening there. Okay. Does he have good ideas on the food system and everything like that, on vaccines and all, the medical system? Yeah. Okay. But on issues that are very important to me that I will not bend at all on, he's on the other side. There ain't no way in the world I'm supporting him. I don't care. And I think Trump needs somebody who's going to, this is the deal. I mean, we have to, the Republican Party is dead, okay? MAGA is the new conservative party because the Republican Party is a bunch of rhinos. Democrat light is all it is. And the people don't want that. We need to put the Mitt Romneys and the Mitch McConnells and the Chris Christies and stuff like that. We need to put them out to pasture. They're dead. The people want conservative values, not fake conservative values. We don't need more people promising stuff on Monday, the election's on Tuesday, and not delivering on Wednesday. The Democrats have cornered the market on that. The rhinos are starting to do the same thing, or have been doing the same thing. They don't do the will of the people. So you need somebody that's going to continue MAGA. I mean, what we really need, we need 12, 16, 20 years of constant conservative leadership. We need to obliterate progressivism in this country. Sorry, you want to be a liberal Looney Tune, that's great, but you're never gonna sniff power again. Okay? We need to get rid of the liberal mindset in the country, one way or the other. Jennifer Perry, speed limit is a recommendation. Tell that to a cop when you get pulled over. Okay. It sure seems like it, because there were plenty of times on a highway today I was passed like I was standing still. Like, honey, I'm doing 70. And it's like, we had one point that was funny. It was like, Google comes up and says, there's a speed trap ahead. Zoom. I'm like, dude, I bet you I'm going to see you in 5 minutes. 3 minutes later, there he's pulled over. McHale 539, all police officers quit in my county seat. 4 law enforcement officers left, 27 officers walked. Geez, power-hungry town manager refused cost of living and promotions. Chief briefed that the streets can't be kept safe with only 4 officers. We had that happen a couple of years ago with COVID, too. I remember there was a city where all the cops left. And it's like, well, what do we do? Sorry, they start doing stuff like, Dalton, Illinois, the mayor up there, the Tiffany, what the hell is her name? I forget, $200,000 salary for being mayor of a little suburb of Chicago. Yeah, same idea. 9:59, so one more. Tau 313 came in late. Did I watch the town hall with Trump and Tulsi Gabbard? No, I didn't, but I saw what she had said. I saw a clip of, when she had asked why she supports Trump and everything like that. And, she's right. Okay. Trump didn't put us in any wars. He got us out, and you guys have heard me say a million times, ever since I understood it, since I was about 15, I've been an isolationist. Okay. Screw the rest of the world. We got enough problems to take care of here. We don't need to pay for Europe's security. All the time in the world that we've had, oh, we're nation building. We need to bring democracy to that country. Name one country that we've ever had uh, effectively brought democracy to. Iraq? Right. Okay. Let's Vietnam? No. I mean, how's that Korea thing working? Okay. But we can piss away money left and right to try to do it. It's because it's a snow job. There's no spreading democracy about it. It's, well, let's see if we go in. I got investments in military defense contractors. I'll make money. Okay. That's all it is. We need to close the borders, put a 30% tariff on China. Oh, that'll make the price of everything go up. Good. Here's a question for you. Grandparents, some of you guys old enough, maybe this applies to you, still have furniture in your house that was built in the 1950s or the 1960s, right? Because it doesn't fall apart. It's not made out of particle board with glue and cam nuts. It was actually made with real wood and joinery and quality stuff, not garbage IKEA crap. If we brought back, I'd happily pay twice as much for something if it's going to last me 20, 30 years, not the disposable society we're in. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. But yeah, I know I just got off on a complete tangent there. But yeah, Tulsi was right. Trump is making America great again, not making Europe great or make China rich again or make Zelensky have a new Bugatti again. It's like, no, let's bring it all home. Let's spend our money here. I'd love to go through, if there was some way to do this, where everybody could take how much, like your Social Security statement, how much money you made over the course of your lifetime, and how much money our government spent in foreign countries based off of what you made. And I bet you're going to look and go, I worked for 2 or 3 years. So everything I made for 2 or 3 years over my life went to a foreign country. That would just make you sick. All right, guys, ran a little bit long because we got started a little bit late, but have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Pinball out.